This video is about my ideal self, and that can be taken negatively or positively. In minimalism, we talk a lot about the fantasy self and not buying things for this unreal version of ourselves. And I do believe that that can be a negative way to go. But I was meditating yesterday morning and decided to sit down around lunchtime and see what I came up with for my ideal self that I felt achievable, and areas in my life where I felt like maybe I was falling a little shorter than I wanted to of the vision I had for myself. So this list is about that. I'm Lauren Teresa, former trauma therapist turned content creator. A viewer asked the other day, what did I think about trauma therapy and what did I recommend for her? And it sounded like she had somewhat of a similar childhood to me. And the answer I give is never, it's not well liked at times. I found as a trauma therapist that I sort of encouraged staying in the story and the label. And though maybe that's not what the training I went through was meant to do, even somatic therapy, which is a deep form of trauma therapy where you do a lot of potentially physical actions to get outside of that fight or flight or freeze response. And I do believe in therapy to an extent. I found that when we labeled people as having complex trauma or little t trauma or big T trauma or incidental trauma, chronic trauma, I found that it sort of put people in this place of not recovering. There's a saying in 12-step recovery that victims don't recover. After my initial separation, before I got divorced, it took 3.5 years. I went to 2 yoga retreats, and they were tantric yoga. It's not the new school kind. It's very ancient, traditional tantric yoga. There's no get-togethers, let's put it that way. It was more of an internal journey towards finding joy and pleasure again from a place of sovereignty and not from an external place, but from an internal place. Maybe we've picked a few things up along the way that need to be discarded, but you are essentially you, regardless of what happens. I told this viewer that forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness and not telling the old story, but telling a new, joyful story, more grounded in the present moment and in the future than in the past, is about living more joyfully. It's not staying stuck in an old telling of the past. I talk a little bit about my origin story on this channel because I'm a minimalist and probably frugal and retired early in response to my childhood. But I do know that resilience varies amongst different trauma backgrounds. I always have returned back to short, intensive therapies like a retreat, going into and getting out of the issue quickly. If I have something I need to be seen, heard, and understood on, I will go into a group like a yoga retreat and have a cathartic release of something I may be holding on to. And then hopefully I get to move on and be free of this story. I quit practicing because I got very burnt out. I had some stuff I hadn't dealt with, but I stopped believing in traditional forms of therapy, labels. I am not going to disregard the need for chemical balancing in people that may need that. But to me, there is so much soul sickness and so much that we don't understand about the human mind. All research and science is just what we have evidence for so far, but none of it is an absolute, in my opinion. With math and more biological sciences, there may be more absolutes, but in behavioral and psychological sciences, not so sure anymore. I experimented with myself and I indulged in many different spiritual teachings. I learned about channeling, crystals, manifestation, and ancient Egypt, and tantric yoga. There's so many different approaches to healing. Traditional therapy wasn't something I believed in anymore and didn't work for me. I think it does work for some, and so I don't want to wholly discount it. I have always been a seeker ever since I was a little child. I've been very sensitive and have always wanted to know how things worked, and in many ways averse to any dogma, whether that be Western or Eastern or anything. I will find myself going down a path for a really long time, believing wholeheartedly in it. And then one day it just goes, and then I go on to the next thing. I believe that many of us are our own gurus and that we can trust our own hearts. So I'm going to read what I wrote down. I wrote down an initial ideal self yesterday, and then it felt too short. So I meditated on it and rewrote it in this really cute little journal with strawberries on it. So I wanted it to be cuter. So I wrote down, goes to bed, no phone. Lunch is made the night before. So that's when I have the kids. 8,000 steps a day. And I said 8,000 because I've watched so many 10,000, 15, 30,000 steps a day videos. And I've tried 10,000 steps a day and found it unrealistic for me. If I can get in 3 to 4 miles a day, I'm very happy. I have my youngest child's watch that she's never used in here. It just has texting and calling capability. She's not interested. So I think I'm going to repurpose it and use it for myself as a step counter. I've had some issues in the past with Apple Watches. When I was pregnant and it kept telling me to stand up, I wanted to run over it with my car. So I really have had an aversion to it because I'm very much a slow living, listen to your body, not a keep up with the Joneses person. So I'm probably going to disable that feature that tells me to stand up if possible. I have considered getting just a pedometer or step counter. I'm going to be gentle with myself if I use the Apple Watch, if I find it's becoming too distracting because I don't want notifications. So if I find it's too much, I'm kind of leaning towards it might be, I may just end up selling it and getting a simple step counter. Maybe even like an old school watch with step counter. That's really all I want. I don't want to know more. Sometimes less is more. Using my weights that I have at home, light weights 2 times a week, 1 upper body, 1 lower body. I think this is doable. I do have a couple of friends that will sometimes work out together every other week, so I can include that as one of them. It's so much easier when I have somebody else to do it with. I have really gotten out of strength training. I've shared before about how I quit the gym. I don't want to do progressive overload anything, literally ever. There might be a time in my life where I do. Right now, it's not in my capacity. I have some gentle weights at home. I would love to find arm weights and just wear those, or the ankle ones out on a walk. I keep checking the thrift store for those, and I haven't seen them, but I've seen them before. So I'll keep looking and the day will come. Running once a week with my friend and running once a week by myself. So this is included in the 8,000 steps. I used to love running and it was an identity of mine. However, I can't say I've always had a good relationship with exercise, food, and body image as a 43-year-old elder millennial who was raised on Teen Magazine and with a mother who was very weight conscious and diet conscious. I'm careful here and my desire for running has vanished. I did an ultra marathon after my second baby was born, and I pushed myself and paid for babysitters on Saturdays to come run 8 hours at a time. And I got done with it and thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I really wanted to lose weight, which I didn't because my body was so stressed, caring for 2 little babies in a stressful relationship. My body, when stressed, holds on to weight no matter what I do. So I have to be very careful with running. There is so much of it that I love, and I'm trying not to get choked up about it. There's so much memory that I have of it that is so joyful. and positive, and then there can be a little shadow there as well. So if you're struggling with exercise, understand you're not alone. Anyway, moving on. I like cleaning and I like gardening. I'm trying to change my mindset around cleaning my space, and it has been manageable and joyful. I got rid of 12 trash bags worth of clutter from my spring cleaning, and I brought in a few things such as this really cute remote controlled candle. There's a set of 3 and I'm going to put them in a bedroom, and it has a remote and a timer. And one purchase I do want to make is a rechargeable battery pack. But there are, sometimes you get rid of things and there's a few influxes of things. But these are the reason that I downloaded the Freedom app, because I decided to give myself a 2-day no buy. And it was easy to just click the buttons and do 48 hours on my computer and my phone of no buying. For me, who's an impulsive shopper and former shopping addict, it's really positive. It turned off yesterday afternoon, and I did check Facebook Marketplace for anything new, but nope, nothing. I'm going to look and see if there's anything we need pantry-wise, and then put it on another 48-hour for Sunday and Monday, because something I do at night was no phone at bed, is that I like to scroll Facebook Marketplace at nighttime. Just like seeing what people have and for how much. And I've almost never bought any single thing, and I do it every night. And I'd rather just put on some sleep sounds or a nice meditation and go to sleep. So focus on film and storytelling after exercise. Because I want to get the 8,000 steps in a day, I really need to dedicate those morning hours and just saying the first 2 hours, and I'm not going to be scrolling or listening to frugality content or going down the YouTube rabbit hole on these walks. This morning, I listened to Abraham Hicks, and then I listened to some Celtic flute music and just shot pictures of the ocean, and I took a slow walk. I took my time because I wanted to really appreciate and absorb where I live on Oahu, and I walked on the beach on the east side, and the morning sun on the ocean was like sparkling glitter. I cried a few times because it was so beautiful, and I was overwhelmed by how much thankfulness and beauty. I couldn't even handle how beautiful it was. So walking in the morning and then doing this, which is focusing on my YouTube channel. And I would love to get better at storytelling, probably get some books on storytelling. I cannot seem to watch the videos on storytelling on YouTube without falling asleep. So I hope to get there. Block off social media. I talked about the Freedom app already, and I am considering also doing it. It's $40 for the year. I will probably go ahead and pay it. I'm in the free trial version right now. It's not sponsored. I would love to be sponsored by them, but no one's sponsoring me yet. And I said 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think that would be helpful if I want to update my stories in the afternoon so my family can see. But I just don't see a need for it first thing in the morning, and I want to avoid any temptation. And the Freedom app has already just given me such a nervous system reset relaxation even the last 2 days. Like, I was just like, well, there's nothing you can do. So you might as well just go enjoy your life. Batch cook from scratch, cook even snacks. We've been buying bulk snacks from Costco for the girls for school. And last time we got the Amy's Cheesy Smiles and the Yogis, the little yogurt fruit chewies. I think I could bake some protein chocolate chip cookies or muffins or something. I would rather make food. It's cheaper. It's really fun. I want the girls to do it with me on the weekends, and it's healthier. Starting my seedlings. I love my garden. It's doing wonderful. My compost could use some love. Everything's thriving, but there is some gaps, and it needs some attention. And I think taking time away from the shopping and the social media apps in the morning will give me that space and time. Like after I complete my videos editing, I can go do that. And it's the perfect day for it because it's overcast and cool. So I have potting soil containers I've saved, and the seedlings sitting there. At the beginning of this video, you saw them waiting. And we are into the spring, so someone's a little behind. 2 afternoons a week. going to the tide pools or going snorkeling, and you can replace with a hike. So I spend a lot of time at home. I am a homebody, but I moved to Hawaii because I'm in love with the ocean. I love it so much. And I love visiting my fish friends, and I find myself thinking I'm just going to wait till I have someone to go with. I think spending some time with myself in the ocean, safely, of course, at the tide pools and snorkeling where there are people nearby twice a week would fill my soul and cleanse my aura in a way that almost nothing else does. So if you know, you know. I've got to prioritize getting out of this house. Focus on fresh. My grocery runs outside of Costco should solely be for produce or the 50% off deep discount department. I don't really need anything. I really want to buy a bag of sweet potatoes from Costco, but I have a bag of potatoes. Use what you have. You're going to go in another 2 weeks, get them then. Until then, you'll eat regular potatoes and you have carrots. If there is produce on sale at Whole Foods or the grocery store, I will get them, but that is it. And I bought myself a papaya that will be ready tomorrow, so we're good for a while. Thrift for cozy items only, and knowing it could be temporary. So when I buy items on a lazy afternoon, knowing that there is always going to be things that come in, I'm not going to stop buying my candles and my flowers and my little things that I think will help. The kitchen is hard. I want the kitchen to be super cozy. And I do find little things like this notebook that add value to my life. So here and there, it's okay to bring them in, knowing that this is a temporary item and will eventually go out of my life and be discarded. And then I have question marks about part-time work. I sometimes, being semi-retired early, lack structure. So I'm trying to impose some structure that helps me to get in my exercise, work on creating versus consuming. Sometimes the structure of a part-time job can really help with that. I've considered a coffee shop or a farm job. There are several available, but having my kids every other week and having to leave for school, get ready between 6 and 7 a.m. and then leave between 7 and 8 and get to school. And I pick them up at 1:30 to 2:15. That is a short window to be at a physical place. What can be done? People do it. So I'm considering it. I really think if I can concentrate on YouTube and storytelling, then there will be no need. That this will be, in fact, my best use of time. It's gotten long, hasn't it? I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I hope you get to spend some time outside or doing what you love inside. I hope you have a cozy weekend. I know I'm going to. My partner is at work today. But when he gets off, we're going to go play volleyball. And a friend of mine texted me about it this morning, so it's nice to already have plans to meet up. I'm going to heat up some more turkey soup and start marinating the chicken and go out and do the seedlings today. I will plant them and water, and fingers crossed. I am also probably going to get some fish emulsion from the store. Have a wonderful weekend.